Hey, and happy Tuesday to everybody. Hope your summer is going well. I want to share a little bit about what the market's doing with you. I know last month I did more of a kind of from the hip, real take out in the field, but I want to keep my statistics, people happy, and kind of share some of that stuff with you this month. So, market in general is pretty similar to what I said last month, where you've got kind of some sellers wanting to hold on to their price and buyers wanting to be choosy, and it's creating some of these graphs that we see here. So first thing is inventory. You kind of see that steady upward trend over the last 3 years that's continuing right now. You've got between 4 and I'm going to call it 7 months inventory across the region. With Henderson having the lowest inventory at 4.6 months supply, Transylvania having the highest at 6.9. So what that means is there's just more homes on the market and available than there have been in years past. What that's doing is it's causing your average days on market to increase. As there's more options, more to choose from, naturally, it's going to take a home longer to sell on average. You see that kind of creeping up over the last year. What we're at region wide right now is 2 to 3 months being the average length of time it takes a home to go under contract. And, I know that's got a little bit of sticker shock to it because over the last few years, we've been used to that flying off the shelf. But right now, if you're in Hendersonville, Flat Rock, Asheville, Weaverville, Arden, Fletcher, and even over in Haywood County, really, Canton, Waynesville, you're looking at about 2-ish months on market being average. So if you're under that, no worries. If you start going over that, you might want to look at your showing feedback as a seller. And then as a buyer, you've got a little bit of time to look over your options, which is cool. What you'd also see as, it takes a home longer to sell is that a seller becomes a little more willing to negotiate than maybe they used to. And so what you see over the last 3 years as supply has increased, the length of time it takes a home to sell has increased. Sellers are willing to take less. So right now across the region, you can get a home for between, I don't know, 6 and 8% off of its listed price. So what that means is, if the home's listed for 500, 6% of 500 is what, 30 grand? You might buy that home for 470 on average. And the counties holding on to their value the proudest would be Henderson and Buncombe, which is not a huge surprise there at roughly 93% and change of list price. And then Transylvania and Haywood kind of in that 91, 92% of list range. Here's the most interesting piece, though, is sales prices have stayed pretty stable. So those other charts on the 3-year average, they're either going up or down. Prices have pretty much gone horizontal for the last few years. We had that huge boost kind of from COVID in pricing, and things have tapered off and leveled off and stayed level for a while. So if you're a buyer hoping the market's going to tank, bad news is it probably won't. If you're a seller thinking you can keep asking more and more and more, bad news is you probably can't either. If it was worth 500,000, 600,000 last year, it's worth 500,000, 600,000 this year. So your average prices across the region, Henderson right there at $540,000, Buncombe at 641, Transylvania at 710, and Haywood at 470. So your average home across the region is somewhere in that $500,000 range, maybe a little up, maybe a little down, depending on what part of town you want to be in. So hope that helps. If I can apply this to your life in any way, just holler at me. Till then, go make it a great day.